Folks, it finally happened. A brand new Pokemon Presents presentation has actually been announced. We were expecting one, but it's still nice to have the official confirmation of this event. Next Thursday, February 27th at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, I will be live streaming this showcase, and I could not be more excited. There has been a dearth of Pokemon news over the past year. Yes, Pokemon TCG and TCG Pocket, they've been firing on all cylinders forever, it feels like. But in terms of the core mainline games and even maybe some console spinoffs, it's been a real dry zone for Pokemon fans ever since the Indigo Disc came out for Scarlet and Violet back in 2023. So today we're talking about what we can maybe expect from this showcase, maybe temper some expectations even, but also dream and shoot for the moon. We're going to talk about our wildest hopes for this Pokemon Presents in this video, as well as a rumor suggesting that maybe we could see some of the classic Pokemon games be added to Switch Online Virtual Console or re-released, repackaged for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Pokemon videos, but also general Nintendo discussions, I would appreciate you subscribing and liking the video. Let's get into it. Now, if you've never watched a Pokemon Presents before, just go into it knowing that they're a little weirdly paced because Pokemon is bigger than just the mainline games, right? You're gonna have all of those spin-offs in there. You're gonna have updates to anime licenses and the TCG, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they announce the next major TCG Pocket expansion here. They announced a while ago that they would be partnering with the studio that does Wallace and Gromit and Netflix to make some sort of Pokemon claymation stop-motion animated series. Maybe we see that here. All of the mobile games are going to get updates, and I'll be honest, I don't play any of these anymore. I had my fun with them when they came out, but Pokemon Cafe Remix, Masters EX, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite. We're going to see all of these things here on top of a weird animatronic Pikachu, and these things certainly bog down the pace, in my opinion, of a Pokemon Presents, but I get it. They got to pay their bills. They got to show the mobile games that are making them a ton of money, so that's usually how these things start, right? You normally start with all of the mobile stuff, and that really usually makes up a bulk of the presentation. So if you're going into this with your expectations through the absolute moon, maybe don't, because yeah, it's going to be a lot of updates for the mobile stuff. But let's address the elephant in the room, and that is Pokemon Legends ZA. I could not be more excited for this game. Legends Arceus is over 3 years old now, and I still think it stands as not only one of the best Nintendo Switch games, but also just one of the best Pokemon games. I would say it's the best Pokemon game that's released since probably Black and White 2. I mean, I like a lot more modern Pokemon than a lot of people, I feel like, but I would say Legends Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game since Black and White 2, maybe X and Y, very nostalgic for that game. And of course, with my nostalgia for X and Y weighing a big part in this, Legends ZA being set in Kalos, I'm so excited to see this game because it just feels like there's so much build-up, there's so much pent-up excitement from Pokemon fans because we did have an off year where we don't really ever have those, you know. I cannot wait to see more of this game and to see what they change with it. Legends Arceus was such a fresh take on the Pokemon experience. You know, I loved the way catching worked in that game. I loved having the little logs where you have to catch a bunch of Pokemon to complete research. There's side quests in that game. It's this open zone, Monster Hunter style thing. I really, really, really enjoyed Legends Arceus. It sounds like Legends ZA might be even more different than that, because when they announced it last year, over a year ago now, or about a year ago, last Pokemon Day, we didn't get much details except for the fact that supposedly the entire game is set inside of Lumio City. We also had that CGI trailer. If the game truly is set entirely in Lumio City, I'll be curious to see how they expand it, right? The entire theme of that trailer is it's the urban redevelopment plan for Lumio City, which I would say suggests that the game will be set in the future because you're redeveloping Lumio City, right? It's not going to be set in the past, I don't think. But what does that mean? Like, what does a Pokemon game set entirely in a city mean? How will wild Pokemon work? Will there even be wild Pokemon? Will they evolve the battle styles and the arts and stuff from Legends Arceus? What is going to happen in this game? We really have no idea. I think it'll still teeter more towards a classic Legends Arceus experience, but this is Game Freak's chance to really just show up and try some new stuff. You know, this is the longest a Pokemon game has ever had in development, at least in terms of mainline stuff. So I am just so excited to see more of this game. I think we will get a pretty massive deep dive. I think we'll see the starters, whether or not that's just the original Kalos 3. Maybe it's another hodgepodge like we got in Legends Arceus. We will see on that. I think we will get a deep dive on mechanics, locations, story, everything about this game. I think they're going to blow the roof off of. And I think we will also get a release date, which I've talked about in videos in the past. I think the release date is actually sooner than a lot of people think. I think this game is releasing in the summer, and we'll talk about a little bit more on why in just a little bit. But based on the Pokemon TCG timing and some leaked information based on that, there's a Mega Evolution set currently slated for the summer, or at least that's the rumor. I think there's a good chance that, I guess depending on when the Switch 2 releases, Legends ZA could be a May or even a June game. Somewhere in the summer, maybe late spring, I think we could see this game release. So very, very excited for that. That is definitely going to be the bulk of this presentation, at least for me, in terms of what I'm excited for. This may even be all we get in terms of a mainline Pokemon deep dive. They might not have any other games to announce. They might not have any other spinoffs to announce, but that's what I want to spend the rest of this video doing, just going over the possibilities. What else could Game Freak, what else could the Pokemon Company grace us with? Now, there was this rumor that popped up on 4chan of all places the other day that I'll just say right now, I don't think this is real. However, I did want to discuss it, and that is this rumor that suggests an upcoming classic Pokemon port collection. They say Pokemon Memories and Pokemon Reminisce both are collections of Gen 1 through 3, co-developed by Nintendo, presumably NER, that's their development team that does the NSO emulators over in Europe, and Pokemon Works, studio formed by Pokemon Company and Ilka. Pokemon Memories includes Pokemon Red, Gold, and Ruby, as well as Fire Red. Reminisce includes Blue, Silver, Sapphire, and Leaf Green. Yellow, Crystal, and Emerald are standalone digital only, but are included as a download code bonus in the physical double pack of this release. Digital versions released same day, physical releases on March 13th. And then they go on to talk about how the presentation will reference how you can now get the Gen 3 ribbons and all that on other Pokemon, that kind of thing, how the gap has been bridged. There's no more barriers really with Pokemon Home, which would be really cool. I don't think this is real. This is just a 4chan post. There's really no reason to expect this to be real. However, I do think a re-release of the classic Pokemon games is just so highly requested, and every year on Pokemon Day we do this, especially ever since they added Game Boy and Game Boy Advance to Switch Online back in 2023. When will we see these classic Pokemon games released? Now, this 4chan post is talking about like a physical release. I think it's not even necessarily saying they'd be a part of Switch Online. They would be like a separate purchase, but still done by the team that does NSO. It's got to happen eventually. Like, we will get these old classic Pokemon games on the Switch at some point. I really hope it's this year. I really hope it happens like they're saying, and they just shadow drop it after the Pokemon Presents, and it's available immediately. You can have your home support. You can immediately grind out these games. I would be through the roof, to the moon excited if they finally re-release these ROMs. I know that's so silly, but just having them on a modern console would be so nice. I don't think it's happening this year, though. I think next year, when we're talking about the Pokemon 30th anniversary, as they're gearing up for what will likely be Generation 10 of the games and anime and all that, I think next year, next Pokemon Day, February 27th, 2026, that is when we see at least Red, Blue, and Yellow added to NSO. Maybe they would do it separately, though. I'm sure Pokemon Company and Nintendo know they can make a lot of money selling these games a la carte and not including them in the subscription service. But I wanted to talk about it. This post was going kind of viral. I don't necessarily think we're getting this time around, but boy, do I hope I'm wrong. Also, shout out to the person who wrote this up on 4chan. If it is fake, I mean, maybe I should give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it will be real. They said the physical is releasing on March 13th. I feel like a lot of the time when we see these fake rumors, they don't get the dates right. Nintendo and Pokemon Company, they don't release games on Fridays anymore. They release games on Thursdays. Starting last year, every first-party Nintendo game released on a Thursday. Most of these fake rumors are still stuck in the past of games releasing on Fridays. They don't release games on Fridays anymore. So shout out to them for saying March 13th, which is a Thursday. We will see. Man, I would love for this to be true, but to be honest, I really don't think it is at all. But I wanted to talk about it because, man, what if it is, though? But is there anything else we could see? Could we see another spinoff game announced here? I have been so deflated in my enthusiasm and optimism for console spinoffs when it comes to Pokemon. I feel like the Switch generation has been frankly very bad when it comes to getting proper, full price, not gacha, not free to play, not mobile spinoffs for the Pokemon franchise, which is just so sad because some of my favorite Pokemon games are spinoffs. I love Pokemon spinoffs, even though a lot of them are kind of mid, Rumble, all that. I love Pokemon spinoffs, even when they are a little bit more mid. I still enjoy playing them. The Switch era had new Pokemon Snap, which I know a lot of people love. Pokken Tournament Deluxe, which is great. It's Pokken Tournaments. We had the remake of Mystery Dungeon Deluxe. We had Detective Pikachu Returns, which is definitely one of the worst Pokemon spinoffs. Could we see something else? I feel like with how many spinoffs we have on mobile and how much free-to-play has taken a big chunk of the Pokemon Company corporate revenue pie, I don't know if we would get like a new Pokemon Ranger or even a new Mystery Dungeon. Maybe Mystery Dungeon. I think I was saying last year, like, yeah, Mystery Dungeon has to come back, but It's been almost 5 years now since those remakes came out. Could we see a new Mystery Dungeon? Maybe, man. That would be a really good calendar filler for the Switch 1. If they wanted to just have another, maybe a remake of Sky or even Darkness in Time, like anything, man. Just give us anything regarding Mystery Dungeon. That would be very cool. I would also be very excited for a new project entirely. There was that rumor from the Game Freak leak that Ilka was developing some sort of online PvP hero shooter Pokemon game that would likely be free to play, but maybe we could see that here. That actually is a good idea. I'm not sure if that's still in development. Pokemon Ranger, I would love to see come back. Even like a re-release of like both PokePark games. That'd be cool. Or the GameCube Pokemon games. Could we see those? Probably not. Probably not. We probably will not be getting these games. But man, I would love if we got a premium $60, this is a good Pokemon spinoff again, not filled with microtransactions. I would love that so much. But I don't think now is the time. I think likely anything like that would be saved for the Switch 2 maybe next year. But I would love to be wrong. I would totally love to be wrong. And then finally, I want to go over my crazy theory here, and this is not something I think most people are talking about, but let's go back. Let's go back to February 2021. That Pokemon Presents, not only did it announce Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which went on to become the best-selling Pokemon remakes, they also announced Legends Arceus in that same presentation. Now, Legends ZA is already announced, but if we're talking about a potential summer or late spring release window for that game, I actually think there is a reasonable possibility that we see another mainline Pokemon game announced in this presentation. The Switch 2 is coming, but the Switch 1 still has a lot of juice in it in terms of people that are still playing on it and people that will want to buy games on it. If we get Legends ZA, let's say June. Let's say we're releasing that game in June. Could they have another Pokemon game ready for either November of this year, where they normally release Pokemon games, or could it be maybe next spring? I actually think it is pretty likely, actually, that we will get something specifically from Ilka. I don't think Game Freak has spent all this time polishing Legends ZA just to secretly have been working on another remake or something smaller that will come out so close to Legends ZA. But if Ilka, the developers of the best-selling Pokemon remakes of all time, if they're going to keep working with Pokemon Company, which it sounds like they are, they should be ready to go. It's been almost 4 years since BDSP, and that's more time than that game had, certainly. I think we could see, I'm not going to say black and white remakes, maybe Johto remakes, just something else, X and Y HD or something. I think it is very possible that Ilka has another set of Pokemon remakes of some variety. Black and white probably the likeliest, but Johto, X and Y, whatever it is, really. I think we could see something from them. I think they will want to continue working with Ilka because of how well BDSP did, and I think if Legends ZA truly is an earlier in the year release, not November, I think they will have another Pokemon game to slot in, like I said, either in November, or maybe they save it for a little bit later, March 2026. That's actually, that'd be the 16-year anniversary of Black and White, or no, 15-year anniversary. Actually, Black and White remake next, I think it was February or March in the US. I think it was September 2010 in Japan, but we are quickly approaching the 15-year anniversary of Black and White. Maybe it really is time for those remakes. Maybe I'm just coping because Black and White are my favorite Pokemon games, but I think there is a chance we come out of this Pokemon Presents not just enlightened by all of the information we get on Legends ZA, but also with the reveal of another core set of Pokemon remakes. We will have to wait and see. I am very, very excited for this presentation. Like I said, I feel like we've been starved of core Pokemon news for about a year now, but I'm very excited for this presentation. As I said, I will be streaming it bright and early next Thursday morning, once again at like 5:45, 6 a.m. I'll be going live and reacting to this presentation. Cannot wait. Of course, as always, I would really appreciate it if you join me for that live stream. I'm sure I'll be popping off for the Legends ZA section. And as always, subscribe here for more Pokemon videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are your hopes and what are your expectations for this Pokemon Presents? I would love to get a conversation going down below. Subscribe here, follow me on Twitter, check out my other YouTube channel, that'll be linked down below. And until next time, folks, peace.